Live on Facebook right now too.
All right. So
Bringing it up right now. There's a little countdown here.
tell my live. All right. So, folks, if you happen to tune into this now or tune into this later, it's an action-packed, rocking and rolling session here where Jason and I are going to have these knockdown, drag-out battles. Oh, my
And
God.
here, yes, that's right. Right here live on Facebook too now. On
Okay.
Sunday, March 8th, 2026, Common Sense News Entertainment. Again, here with a joint venture, Cor Ratnowski from Yankee T News.
Okay.
And of course, I am the Big Picture on X, also on Facebook, and here we are.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna start. We're gonna start posting these in a recorded fashion later as well. But
Right.
we don't want the news. The news is happening so fast, and Court will tell you in a minute how fast it's running in Iran.
No,
That we can't even afford to wait 24 hours to post this stuff, so we got to do it live. So here we are.
Yeah, it is a fast-changing situation there, but there are a lot of particular points to get into concerning what's happening with respect to Iran and the region. And one of them will touch on your favorite subject, directed energy weapons. So it appears they're already in use in this conflict. And boy, we'll get to that. Now, the thing that I find interesting, because this is a big tell, ladies and gentlemen, on a lot of levels. The title is Crew of Iran Navy Vessel RIS Bushehr Flee to Sri Lanka. Okay, so we have a little bit more of a backstory here. Now, mind you, that the Bushehr was the surviving vessel in an attack on the sister ship, the Dana, which sunk. Okay. Now.
Well, friendly fire?
Sorry?
Friendly fire?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No. We
torpedoed
that. We torpedoed that motherfucker. Okay. All right.
That puts it all.
People making a big deal out of it. Never been done before since World War II, or, well, in terms of what we know about. Okay, how does that sound? All right. So this vessel docked at the port of Colombo, and they said they were having an engine malfunction. Oh, I can tell you about engine malfunctions from when I was in the Navy. So what's curious here, though, about this ship, the Bushehr, Bushehr, is that it had 53 officers and 84 officer cadets. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a training ship. This wasn't even a ship of the line. It's just a training ship. Bunch of kids, all right, learning how to be in the Iranian Navy.
That makes the U.S. Marine training look easier.
How do you think it went down for them? They're out there, and the ship that's with them gets sunk. Holy shit! How do you say "holy shit" in Persian? I don't know.
That's a good one though. That's gotta suck though. Just join it up, go out for training, and boom.
It just okay. So yes, but here's the backstory though. It turns out that there was. Let's see if I can get. Okay, I'm going to just read it as they wrote it here. An Iranian sailor who was killed when the warship Dana was struck by the U.S. near Sri Lanka had called his father shortly beforehand, saying American forces had issued 2 warnings, not 1, 2 warnings for the crew to abandon the vessel. Okay, so. Do you think there might have been a similar message sent to the Bushehr since they're sailing alongside the Dana?
I would think.
But I think it's a safe bet.
Yeah.
One of them took the message seriously, and the other did not.
It all depends on who's listening to the message, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So this is. So the fact that they were contacted, all right, we've talked about this maybe in a more garbled fashion, but we talked about this one of the other nights. And as I had pointed out in the Iraq War, the CIA or other intelligence services, could have been Defense Intelligence Agency, somebody had the phone numbers for all the generals, put a little call.
CIA,
said you
CIA
might want to
they do.
surrender. Imagine that before the battle. Your enemy gives you a call, a personal call, suggesting you might want to surrender. Since when does that ever happen?
Phone numbers are easy.
All right. But anyway, so this is...
No, I mean, they are. They are.
Yeah. To me, this is just one small example of how we've gotten better at PSYOPs.
Yeah, CIA is doing the job.
Okay, so that said, though, I do want to point out, for example, when the first attacks were launched, Eric Prince, the head of Blackwater, private security services, was not pleased. He thinks this may backfire. I don't know if he's changed his mind after a week, but that's his concern. So this was a concern that would be expressed in spite of having decapitated the leadership for Iran, because you've got too many other layers, too many other people.
Yeah, they've been in power for 47 years. That's a couple of generations.
Yes, it's a well-established...
It's not easy to unravel everything. But can I just say something for a minute about the American public?
I'm timing you right now. 1 minute. Go ahead.
This business of, I think we should just let evil continue to be evil because my gas prices are spiking too much. Oh, that's ticking me off. Be patient, people.
I think
gas prices are going to come back down. I think it's the epitome of selfishness. If you don't recognize the eradication of evil,
right,
and the thousands, and I mean thousands of American soldiers and citizens that have been killed by these people over the years, and the obvious fact that they're at war with us and have been for almost all of my lifetime, and I'm not a young man, is just to sit there and to call yourself. I've seen some postings on X and on Facebook, by the way, of people who call themselves MAGA who are now pulling the brakes on Donald Trump, calling it an 80-20 issue. Trump promised no new wars, right? That's one of the things we're hearing. Trump has promised no new wars, and they're calling this a new war. The problem is this is not a new war. Matter of fact, Trump keeps bragging about how, and Trump likes to brag. I'm going to say that about him. He's pointed out the fact that he's ended 8 wars. There's 2 left that haven't been ended: the Ukraine and Russia one, and then the Iran versus the United States one, which is the oldest one. Goes back to 1979. We just haven't been fighting back. That's all. Not much. Okay. So this notion that it's a new war and these MAGA people better just chill out and relax a little bit. And honestly, here's my punchline. I know it's been over a minute, but if you are more upset about your gas prices than you are about getting rid of malls in Iran, then shame on you. Shame on you. Take a little time and relax. Pay your $3.30 a gallon, and just my God, talk about selfishness. Well, this is a major epitome of world history. That if this goes well, if people actually get behind this and stay behind it, most of us are, by the way, then this could change the world for the better. We could have casinos in Tehran in 2 years or 3 years from now. This could make the world not that gambling is the answer. My point is capitalism and free enterprise, the things that make this America great. And you make America great again by helping the world get great as well. That reduces the threat to America. So the long-term goal of this is going to bring the gas prices even down further in the long run. So people, please relax. Stop being so selfish. Don't worry about the stupid gas prices. Look at the morality of the situation, the morals here of what's right and what's wrong. Anyway, that's what I have to say.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Meantime, in Lebanon. Okay.
Yes, in Lebanon. I know. We're having missile fire from Lebanon. Am I correct? Has that been verified now?
Say again?
Have we verified information that missiles are being fired from Lebanon at our allies or at our allied countries?
The story is yes, there's been an attempt to fire missiles. This is where the directed energy weapons come in. Now, if I was seeing this correctly, so now, I mean, as the story goes, now the Israelis, with American help, I guess, or maybe both have worked together, have been deploying laser-based directed energy weapons. Okay. And the video, all right, all I can do is report what I saw. What you would see is a flash. and you'd say to yourself, that is probably a missile being launched. That missile was in flight for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, by which time it exploded.
Okay.
And you saw this happen over and over and over again in the clip. It was only a 20-second clip, okay? But, I mean, this puts missile defense on a whole new level if it is as it appears. That you can knock out a missile just as it's launched. Imagine the frustration for all those evil mullahs. Okay? How do you say curses foiled again in Persian? Okay?
I think I need to get my Persian English dictionary out here soon.
No. Whatever. So the point is, technology is emerging in this theater of conflict that is changing the calculus, and it sure looks like it's changing it dramatically. So it's called, ladies and gentlemen, yes, a number of missiles have gotten through. These directed energy weapons are not universally available, but you can be damn sure that they're going to be deployed extensively as quickly as possible if they're performing as it appears in Lebanon. Okay. Now, all of that said, I mean, even these directed energy weapons are still going to have limits because they consume huge amounts of energy. And if it takes time for a weapon to recharge, that could be longer than the time it takes for another missile to get by. We don't know. I don't know. I'm just raising the issue.
Right. We don't know the dynamics.
Okay. So this is a noteworthy piece of information. Just saying. The other noteworthy piece of information I'd like to share was from a video clip on Reddit, where this gentleman was claiming that he got a phone call from a couple of his buddies. So he's ex-military. He's got other friends still in there. And according to him, the 82nd Airborne, a commando division, and 2 other groups, the names of which escape me right now. So it's a total of 4.
Ground troops you're talking about?
Have received orders to get ready to deploy within the next 48 hours. That's short notice.
It sounds like a leak.
Well, they play a clever game because look, it's just some all shucks kind of guy.
So what was, you know what the wording was? Prepare to deploy?
No, deploy as in get ready to go. You're going. Get ready to go. So this, I mean, all the talk, well, we might commit troops, we might not, and then this comes out. So you know what? I think American soldiers are going to be on the ground in Iran very soon. Okay. So that's one story. Over here, now we have another story kind of related. Recall that the mullahs in their braggadocio had, in the last negotiations with Witkoff and I guess Kushner, said, by the way, you dumb Yankee dogs, we have
Yankee Tea Party people.
We have enough high purity fissionable uranium to make 11 bombs.
Yeah, I heard this.
All right.
We could do it within 10 days or something like that.
Well, yeah, well, bullshit on that. Okay. But because there was another story saying they were working on being able to make a nuclear trigger. Well, if you don't even know how to make a nuclear trigger, how the hell are you going to make the bomb? Just a question.
So you think they're bluffing when they say that stuff?
All right. But that said, if they see, again, we, the great unwashed here, are permitted only so much information, and we have to fill in the blanks as far as the rest is concerned. Right?
You, the measly public, you mean?
We, the public, yeah. You, me, the others. We don't have any special access to on-the-ground intelligence. We don't get to see any reports from guys who are actually, adjacent to these people in Iran. Okay, and so if they're getting consistent reports suggesting that yes, you really didn't destroy everything back in June. Yes, they might just have a lot of fissionable uranium on their hands. Possibly.
Sure.
All right. And just to throw it in, there was this other story, like a week before the attacks on Natanz and these other facilities there. You had satellite photos showing.
Talking about June, or talking about this?
I'm talking about June, last
okay.
June. Before the B-2s came over and dropped the bomb. Before all that happened, all right, at least a week, there was a convoy of trucks that was hanging out. And the conjecture was that, they knew they couldn't save everything, but what they were doing was loading up what uranium they had, and they were going to go hide it someplace else. All right. That was just pure conjecture. We don't know. All right. But that was just another piece of intelligence.
It makes logical sense.
Sorry?
It makes logical sense that.
I'm trying to be logical with these data points. There are probably other things to consider that, conflict with what I'm saying. In any event, so let's just assume that the information about the convoy is correct. Let's assume that the Mullah's claim is correct. So then that means somewhere these materials are being hidden, which leads us now to this third news item, which is saying, oh yeah, we are probably going to have to send some special forces in to seize the uranium. I'm sorry, that begins to sound like a psyop thing, just in my opinion.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know how I feel about ground troops in Iran, American ground troops in Iran.
Yeah,
I think that should be a last resort. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what we're doing. It's a last resort.
All right, well, that's just it. This is how the public feels. So it's all the more alarming when you have this guy from this Reddit video clip stating that his buddies said they got orders to deploy. All right.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't support it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, well, none of us like it. So what the hell?
You know what? When we talk about boots on the ground, to me, there's a difference between special op forces, smaller numbers of special op forces versus, an army of infantry, say.
Of course, by design.
I mean, morally too. I mean, I think that the guys or women that sign up for the special forces, they know they're going to.
Okay, well, other people are going to be pointing out you're invading sovereign territory. Naughty, naughty.
Okay. They've invaded our. I don't think the argument works. They've invaded our territory with the things they've done to us on our ships, on our naval ships. And in our embassies.
Yeah, hold on.
On our own soil.
So, Eric, which background is horrible? His background or mine? Eric is watching this. So, which background is horrible? Mine or his or both?
The background?
My name is Zone. Yes.
Yours looks like a messy attic. You're like in a messy closet back there, man. You got to clean up your studio. Sorry.
How about here? If I put on the lamp, does that help? Is that better? Washes everything out. Great.
You got more hair than I have, even though you're older than me. That's what you got going for you. But back there, it looks like you got a.
Not really.
Looks like you're in the
zone.
The old office somewhere, and someone's just saying.
What is it? When you say my name is Zone, it's like saying, what's that character from not the Avengers? Darn it, the guy was a big plant, and he always says the same word, but it means different things. Or Chewy Baca when he goes, ugh.
Oh, what?
Fibber McGee's Closet. Okay, that is derivative humor where I can't even begin to go. Fibber McGee. No idea. So anyway, certainly, unfortunately, so Eric, I don't know if you can alert some other people while we're just sitting here blathering. I don't know, that would be one thing. Anyway, what I want to try and finish up here is, okay, while it's the case of the directed energy weapons shooting down missiles in Lebanon, we supposedly have Lebanese troops who've formerly been intimidated by Hezbollah, finally going after them with a specific assignment of killing whatever the latest Hezbollah leader is.
I've heard about that. I've heard about the leadership in Lebanon actually having some friendly tone to it.
Yeah, no, I don't know Fibber McGee. I'll have to find out, though. You got me curious. The Straits. Straits. There's a word for this, cerebral spelling. So, the Strait of Hormuz. Well, now hold on, not so fast. With the Strait of Hormuz, yes, a lot of concern. But the latest announcement, if we can believe them, is that whatever is left of the Iranian government has said we're going to let ships pass through this straight. Did I get it wrong? You get to correct me.
Is that latest from today?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
all right. You said space lasers.
I don't think it's a big concern.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a big concern.
No, Eric. No, these are ground-based lasers, and the Navy already has them. Okay, and the Navy has been developing them for years. I think they've deployed one onto one ship. But as I've said before, these devices are such energy hogs that everything else on the ship has to shut down when a blast of laser energy goes out, and then everything recharges again. So it's first generation, okay, for something that's being deployed. And oil is opening $101 a barrel tomorrow. Okay, I'm not surprised at that.
Doesn't bother me at all.
I think part of it is you have to look at the history of oil trading, and it, like any other market, is emotional. Okay.
Yeah.
The joke is that trading the market is like taking an elevator down and riding an escalator up.
Right, because if you take the emotion out of it, you go right to the facts.
Yeah, well,
we're producing more oil here in the United States than we ever have before, and it's continuing to rise.
Let's see, what's this? That moniker is best worn by a certain building near the Yale campus. Which moniker is that? Booger 414. Yeah, but anyway, yes, of course, the stuff is not good. None of this is good as far as I'm concerned, but I feel like we've approached a moment here. All right, first of all, let's go back. If it is true, this is the whole thing. If this is just a ruse, it's just a pretense, it wouldn't be the first time. If the Iranians were boasting they had enough material to make 11 bombs, we got to do something. We cannot let that stand. All right.
And if the answer to that question
that's a no-brainer.
If the answer to that question is yes or I don't know, then we have to act. If it's no,
right. And look, dude, this isn't just about Israel either. Okay, Eric's been on a rip about Israel. You can't blame him. The thing is that, look, you've already seen Iran attack a bunch of other countries, all right, with missiles and drones. Right, 12. Is it 12 countries they attacked in the last few days?
What is Eric's problem with Israel?
Well, I'll just, maybe I'm being a little unkind, but the point is, yes, Israel has exerted a lot of influence. Yes, we don't like AIPAC because they have bought a lot of politicians.
Okay, first of all, this AIPAC thing is just a great
American foreign policy. Yes, that's all true. Right.
Israel's been being attacked for the last 47, more than longer than that. So it's okay if they, want to have an influence.
Right. But he says here it's about controlling the Western hegemon. Well, first of all, if you're suggesting that Israel is controlling the Western hegemon, I have trouble believing that they're controlling NATO policy. I have trouble believing that they have any interest in what goes on in Latin America or Southeast Asia. It's not their thing. They don't have any influence there. Unfortunately, their Greater Israel Project does not extend that far. Okay, so I'm just reacting to things that Eric is saying here. And yeah, well, China. If China's all right, you're doing a good job of triggering me. You know that? Jeez. All right, come on. Let me get back to the good stuff here.
Watch these.
All right, so yeah. I remember you told me about. Well, you got to back it off a little bit. Back it off. There, America's spirit, the family game for patriotic Americans. Yes. Well, I want mine too. You should get it online still.
There it is, America. Trivia questions.
Okay, so let me. We're still got to come back to this, but there's this one image in my brain that I need to get out of my system.
Let's hear it.
Really need to get this out of my system. I want to preface it by saying that on the intro to Steve Bannon's War Room, there is a part where he makes a statement. This is the primal scream of a dying regime. He's referring to the way liberals are acting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a primal scream means pure emotion that has no connection to being rational. Okay, no connection whatsoever.
Well, that's why they're attacking 12 countries.
All right. So we've seen. So if anything is a primal scream of a dying regime,
Hitler. That's a primal scream.
No, primal scream.
Hitler,
No. The primal scream is Trump derangement syndrome.
Well, yes, which leads to, okay, that's a symptom of Trump derangement syndrome.
No. The Trump
When you
derangement
go Trump to
syndrome,
I mean, that's
the emotion that is invested in hating Trump is like a primal scream.
correct.
Okay. Now, could it get any worse? Well, yes, it can get worse, because now along comes this video clip of James Carville absolutely losing it. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody who's read the novel 1984 knows about how Big Brother used hate sessions. Everybody would get together in this room, there'd be an image, and you're supposed to sit there and scream.
I know. Well, it's why Democrats aren't, most Democrats are behaving like not even supporting our troops or anything. I mean, it's all derangement.
Okay, but this thing with Trump, with James Carville, given whatever influence he thinks he has, to see him so worked up, so crazy, all right, where he's proud of his Trump derangement syndrome, and he screams about how he wants to hate Trump even more, you've lost it.
Yeah.
You have truly become, in the classic sense of the word, unhinged. Unhinged. Yes.
Loco.
But does he feel like he needs to watch himself? No. Okay. So what are you supposed to do with people like this? I mean, my prayer is that enough other Democrats look at him and say, dude, we're not going there. That's you're over the edge.
I got news for you. In a more sane time, some of these people will end up being tried for treason.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of them. I'm not saying all of them, but some of the things that are being done, said to undermine our effort, our country, would be considered treason, would they not? Back in, say, the days of the Rosenbergs, for example.
Well, all right. Theirs was a clear case, because at that time we knew we had a very adversarial relationship with the Soviet Union in the early 50s.
I get it.
So, executing them was sort of like an obvious thing to do.
Yeah, but what's the name of the senator that was telling just a couple months ago, was telling troops, oh, you don't have to obey your orders. You don't have to obey
Mark Kelly.
Yeah, that's treason.
Yeah, him and the others. Yeah, no.
Treason,
all right,
period.
so I'm sorry. I mean, as much as I would love to hang him by his nuts, he's in a gray zone. Okay, it's one thing, because by definition, treason is aid and comfort to an enemy. Okay, to an enemy. What he was doing was more like sedition rather than treason.
Okay, I'll give you that. Sedition.
Okay. All right. Anyway, let me grab some of these comments here. So, Eric and Booger 414 are loving on China. Okay.
Loving on China.
Okay. Booger 414 notes that China already has ground troops here waiting for our next move. Okay.
I mean, Iran?
What? Well, he's talking about China.
China has ground troops already where, though?
If I had to guess, I would say most of them are in California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. I think that's where most of them might be. So here's the thing.
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna ask you and see. Well, we should never not have an adversarial relationship. We should never not. So we should always have an adversarial relationship with Russia. Double negatives, they're always fun to have to fix.
Well, I think the point he's making there, I think, is that if we don't have a common enemy, we'll turn on ourselves. In other words, when we had the Cold War, we were all united against communism in Russia. But then in 1990, Russia fell, and then there was no world.
He's
we start turning on ourselves.
Okay, but he's picking on Russia. Okay.
Okay.
And I was talking the other night, and I'm bringing it up again. The Russian mindset is so different from ours. I'm sorry. This is difficult. Okay, because the easy analysis. Yeah. Okay. They have ground. Yeah. The Midwest, I'm not so sure about. Some of them did try to come in disguise as Mexicans. Others, the reports, the pictures, you could see, hey, that guy over there with the suitcase and the black form-fitting clothing on his tight muscled body, yeah, that would be a Chinese guy. Yeah. So I think there's the general sense that they're here. But you know what? I just may have to default to the other one.
Mhm.
Remember what I said the other night about those poor Iranian terrorist cell guys?
Yeah.
They
You know,
were
so
all
like
ready to
back
go
now,
until they started
they don't want
mixing
to
it
pull up
up
the
with that
McDonald's. They like the
Latina
Big Mac.
booty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I
So
kind of like America.
I think look here. Let me just make it the cultural. What's the word I'm looking for
You know
here?
what you're saying is freedom is powerful. Freedom is
Okay.
contagious. Once
Yes,
you
you're.
taste it, you never
Yes,
want to see it
that's
go
right.
away.
The freedom to screw some hot Latina booty. Yeah,
And I don't care if you're from
there's a
Russia or
great
where you're
freedom
from.
right there. Okay.
We're not different from the Russians in that the Russian people in that respect.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Perestroika
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Okay. So these
1990s,
Chinese
early
guys
90s.
come disguised as Mexicans because they wanted to get some of that hot Latina booty. Yeah, there you go.
Right?
What's the matter with me? All right.
Isn't it the same reason
I
why?
had to go to that.
Isn't it the same reason why so many people in college are liberal until they start paying their own? They actually have to buy a house and pay their own bills, and then they suddenly
Okay.
become more conservative as they get
The
older.
joke is, in your freshman year, you're a communist. In your sophomore year, you're a socialist. In your Democrat, in your junior year, you're a Democrat, and then your senior year, you're a Republican. So
I wish it happened that quickly, but yeah.
yes, there's but others, they're stuck on stupid all the way. All right. In any event, so stuck on stupid. I just
Sure.
need to make the point that we've never seen James Carville act quite like this before, and so I think the point I'm trying to get to is that there is a limit. It does not end well, but when you're that nuts, okay, something's going to break.
Yeah, the
Not
last
you,
gasp is
not
dangerous.
you, but something's going to break.
The last
What?
gasp of the far left is dangerous.
Yes, that's right.
Yep,
It's like
what you're
acting
saying,
like a cornered animal. So
And
we
James
should
Carville,
ignore that.
I gotta tell you right now, James Carville is a man that I believe in 1975 would have been in an insane asylum.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, look at the way the man acts. He's completely unhinged. He's completely nuts. He's really always been that way.
Well, no, this is in a class. If I could just put up the clip, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, an untreated mental patient after 40 years, after an untreated mental patient after 30 years is what you get. James Carville, 2026.
Probably. So anyway, I want to just change the subject briefly a little bit here.
Let's do it.
So where do I want to start? There was this essay. The guy's name is Leopold Aschenbrenner, I think is his name. He's 24 years old.
Okay.
And he is in control of about $5.5 billion.
Nice.
Why
job.
you ask? Well, yes, German born, came to America, and he wrote an essay called Situational Awareness, from where he has sat in San Francisco, learning from the best and the brightest who are working on artificial intelligence. He came to certain conclusions about where this is all going, okay? And so he obviously hooked up with somebody who bought into his belief. So somehow, I want to say, believe it or not, a year ago, but let's just say 2 years ago, he was somehow connected up with $1 billion worth of investment. He took that $1 billion and he, shall we say, invested it wisely in the AI ecosystem, such that $1 billion is now worth about $5.5 billion. Okay?
Not bad.
There's a temptation to think this guy may know what he's doing. Right? All right.
Of course.
I'm inclined to agree, but anyway, so what powers this is it's this essay that he wrote. They call it an essay, 167 pages. And he's giving his analysis. Yeah, I got it somewhere. I should send it to you. It's well organized. So
okay, I'll check it out. I'll skim it.
The point to keep in mind is that there is a definite progression or arc of development to artificial intelligence in terms of the implementation of the chips, the build out of the data centers, the development of the applications, and with it, ultimately, the profits that are supposed to be realized. Now, I just need to add quickly that even while he's making a lot of money betting on how the stock market is handling this, when you sit down and look at the business models, not good, not good. There is no real basis for. I mean, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version here. You have. It's bigger than that, but let's say it's 100 billion invested, but there's no way that they can make more than 10 billion a year back on that investment of 100 billion. Mm-hmm. All right. That's all right in front of them in terms of this is what we can make, this is what it's worth, these are the customers, this is how much they'll pay. Your market is $10 billion a year. Okay, now what's the other problem? The chips. The rate at which the chip technology is evolving is accelerating. This has been true for a very long time, by the way.
Just like the energy, yeah.
We're, 10 years ago, you would have had, let's say, a 5-year life cycle for an advanced chip. Now, it's about 2 years, okay? Because the technology behind it that's improving so much, you can't, it becomes a wasted asset in half the time you expect to earn anything back from it. That's a losing proposition. All right. So how are you supposed to make money on that? Right? Nobody's answered this question. The Sam Altmans of the world, they just look off into the sky and keep begging for more money, but they are not able to address the basic shortcomings of this business model. All right.
Jack of prices, it always brings in more money.
Back at the ranch, you got Leopold Altenbrenner there, who just increased his portfolio from $1 to $5.5 billion in a year or 2 years. Okay, based upon his read of what's happening. All right. So if the audience is waiting with bated breath, all two of them, the next move that he's pushing, the places where he's putting his money, is into the, quote, energy infrastructure supporting those data centers. Now, he's willing to push that to include they're called integrators, essentially. Okay, so you've got the chips, you've got your power source, and you got to put the two together, okay? And the way to put them together is you put them on a rack, you wire them up, you put them in a big temperature-controlled facility. That temperature-controlled facility part is, a little hard to do, okay? And I can't remember the name of Applied. I don't think it's Applied Digital. The name's escaping me right now, but there is a public company out there, and that's their specialty, and Mr. Leopold is investing in them. That's his next round of investment. And by the way, he dumped, Mr. Altenbrenner dumped $300 million worth of NVIDIA stock because he thinks that they're essentially played out. Okay. But the part that doesn't make any sense here is that there's a spin-off from NVIDIA called CoreWeave. All right. So I think they might have an integrator role. I have to check. So he's dumping NVIDIA, but he's investing a spin-off from NVIDIA called CoreWeave. Okay. In any event, so all of this is raising a lot of other questions, and we're all trying to sort this out now because we're still.
I'm trying to sort it out myself. I'm not getting all this.
What? Tell me. What don't you get?
What you're saying in a nutshell is that the entire business model for people making money off AI is falling short because of the extra strain on their manufacturing assets like chips and whatnot, and therefore they don't know the solution because I guess they can't just jack up prices because
no, these are two separate problems here.
Okay, that's one of them, right?
No, you lumped the two together, and that's my fault. But over here, okay. All right, so let's put it this way. You have technical development and you have commercial development. You need the technology to develop the commercial part, but the technology part develops on its own pace in its own way without regard to commercial application. Is that clear?
I get it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you want to buy a fancy car, okay, but you have somebody working on a new engine design, okay, they have to worry about what it costs to develop that engine and manufacture that engine before they even talk about selling you the car.
Correct.
Okay. So that's the point I'm making here with respect to the chips. Okay. They're working on making these advanced chips. They're going to power what you're doing. But sorry, there's you and then some number of other people who want to buy this fancy car. The problem is the amount of money that those people are going to spend on those cars is not as much as the money being spent to make the engine.
Okay.
The engine is more expensive than what they can sell the car for.
So then why not, as an economics student, why not just then say, well, it's going to cost this much more to buy these products then?
Well, I think what they gain
is the outprices even. So then you get to where we were with the automobile before Henry Ford, where only the very richest of people could afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's not what Ford was about. You have to remember that Henry Ford was the one who was able to come up with the mass manufacturing techniques that made the car available to the masses.
Right.
Okay. So beforehand,
we're looking at here a similar situation here.
Mass manufacturing technique, perhaps, and we'll stay tuned. And let me just grab some of Booger's comments here. Yeah, we are.
Or you simply say, if it costs, I mean, isn't the business model to say, well, if it costs X amount of dollars to produce this great engine for this fancy car, then we have to charge X times 2 or X plus whatever to get what we need out of it. So why is that not happening here? What's stopping that phenomena?
Okay,
I guess.
Okay. Let's see.
Why not just say, hey, it costs this much to make the chips, and they don't last as long as you want.
Right. So I have to start with an indirect answer.
Okay.
Which is, I'm sure that the Sam Altmans of the world are very aware of this criticism, and they've said nothing about it.
Okay.
That they continue without saying anything about it would tell me they know something they're not talking about, which is that there are other uses, other applications, other addressable markets that they can reach with this technology, but it's going to take, further development to get there. And maybe it becomes a case of, developing something that would be similar to the Ford. Okay, that moment in time where the demand was such that you could come up with a mass production system that would meet that need by all those customers. They may be betting on something like that, and that may turn out to be the case, but we're not seeing it right now. So,
well, we didn't see it with you make the comparison to the automobile industry. We didn't see that in the automobile industry for 40 years before Ford did what he did. So
yeah, well, I would say the thing, if you're going to make a study of this, and I got to do what I can, and to my dear audience out there, the thing that I think you really need to watch, and let's go back 2 years, or start from 2 years ago, and track all the spin-offs, just the spin-offs, okay? So CoreWeave is one. There are others. I can't think of their names right now. And what you want to do is monitor the progress of these spin-offs. There might be some other startups to consider. I mean, I'll go back to this article here. So there are two, I think they're both, yes, they are both publicly traded. One is called Coherent, and the other is Lumentum. So see if I can put it up here.
So it's similar now what you're saying. I'm going to make another comparison. We had MySpace years ago for social media.
So this is, see, for the audience, that's the trading symbol for Lumentum, okay? So Lumentum and Coherent. So here's the thing. It's a war. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is a war.
Market share.
No.
No,
It's
well, that's the war.
I'm going to call it a modality war. All right. It's a long running modality war. Over here, we have protons, and over here, we have electrons. All right. Most computer technology has used electrons. All right. Everything here, copper wires, electrical power circulating through here, light with a light coming off of there, but it's still electricity powering this. And as far as the most critical part is concerned, the compute, the microprocessor, that's electrons moving through transistors on a computer chip. Electrons. Now, little known fact, there's a lot of technology that leads up to the electrons getting into the CPU. And what you'd be surprised to learn, especially in these data centers, is a lot of it is transmitted optically. It's like 90% of what goes on inside a data center is optical. It is not electronic. It's the last little piece there, just as you're getting to the microprocessors that are turned into electrons, okay? The argument is that if we can solve these few significant technical hurdles, if we can make the whole thing optical, bandwidth issues and a lot of other things are going to, well, disappear. All right. Maybe I'm sticking my foot out here, but yeah, performance would be greatly improved if you could convert from electrons to photons. All right. So
yeah, it's a big if, though. It sounds like a big if.
All right. Now, to that end, here you have NVIDIA, which is relying primarily on electrons, investing in two companies developing technology for photons.
Okay. Is there any evidence of success in this area yet, or is it?
Well, yes. All right. Let me be clear. This is a part where I can't say that. This is where I start to depart from my level of understanding. But think of, say, 3 stages. Stage 1, 2, 3. Stage 1, stage 2 are both optical. Information is passed optically. But then at that last stage, now you have to transmit it electronically. And there's some problem with the nature of the technology in that third stage that limits your ability to use photons.
Limits, or is it limits it, or does it preclude it?
Preclude.
Okay. So we haven't made that. We haven't. See, I don't understand the depths of it, but I do understand the science of it. And there's that eureka moment where we got something to operate with these photons. So we haven't reached that moment yet.
No, but the progress. If you go back,
we haven't reached that moment. There's another level where we've reached that eureka moment.
Yeah,
we've got it to use protons, but we haven't been able to produce it in a way that's usable for the public or profitable or whatnot. So those are the 2 phases there.
If you're to dip in, it'll keep you busy. But let me just pick up on Booger 414 here. We know about the ground troops. Most Democrats belong in insane asylums. No argument there. No argument there.
James Carville is the leader of the pack.
Yeah. And this last point, because we have no one in government who can even conceive a business strategy, that's a funny observation. At first, I'm going to agree with you, but then I'm going to remind you that a lot of the fraud that has gone on in the government has been to simply take money, your money, my money, and hand it over to somebody who does understand business strategy.
Donald Trump.
Well, or no, anybody else out there. Yes. Okay. Yes, I almost can anticipate what he's going to say, but they pass it around in any way whatsoever where the recipients get to have some of that cash for themselves. Okay. But the smart ones know how to take that money and invest it and get it to make money, like Good old Leopold here, who we've been talking about. Okay, so that's enough of that one. I had to bring that up.
I want to bring up the SAVE Act for a minute. Can I do that?
Sure. Okay. Now, boy, let's just quickly. I mean, I'll just quickly review what I heard in the news.
Okay.
Okay. So first, you had John Thune, the majority leader in the Senate, saying, "I ain't gonna pass that damn thing. You can go screw yourself."
Yep.
All right.
And then Mitch McConnell is also, and there's a third. There are three.
Yeah. Okay. But no, Bethune is the point man here. He's the one who can.
He's the lead guy. You're right.
Yes.
And so now I say to you.
Oh, wait. There's two more things. So then, get this. There's a battle in Texas, right, for a Senate seat between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton.
Correct.
Okay. So right now, Ken Paxton has thrown the glove down, the gauntlet, to Mr. Cornyn.
Yeah.
And he said, if you help get the SAVE Act passed, I will drop out.
Yeah.
Your competitor says, if you do this, I'll drop out. And I've never heard anybody make that offer ever.
No, that's a principled offer.
Okay.
And Paxton has declined that offer or not answered?
Well, no, Paxton made the offer.
Oh, I mean, the other guy. He's declined? Yeah.
So far, Cornyn hasn't said anything. Okay. Nor Thune. All right. So apparently that's not good enough. So
I want to know what's going on in John Thune's head.
Right,
I want to know what's going on in the head of anyone who doesn't want fair elections.
You know what? With everything we've seen, I think we have a pretty good idea at this point. But let me
that's why this is so important.
Let me do the second thing. Trump saying he's not going to sign any other bills.
Yeah.
Unless you pass the SAVE Act.
That's great.
Okay. That's thrown down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is why this is so important.
Well, all right. First of all, on its face, the SAVE Act is common sense. All right. You expect people to show IDs in order to vote.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't know what else is in the SAVE Act, but this, as we know, is the heart of it. Now, there's this girl. Her name is, darn it, but she's a tough one. She gets Liberty Chick, I think. She gets out in the street, does her own man in the street interviews and stuff. And so she goes in amongst this group of all these black people, and she says, "Do you have an ID? Yeah. Do you have an ID? Do you have an ID?" 100% of all the people she asked had IDs. So what's this crap about black people not being able to vote because they wouldn't have an ID?
Yeah, but what is Thune's argument other than, hey, screw you? He's not saying anything else?
So far,
like fair elections? I mean,
he might as well be hiding under a rock as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so that's why this is important on two levels. One, because it's going to make fair elections. That's the most important level. But also, this is an issue where, remember what the other night, a couple weeks ago, the State of the Union address, when Trump simply said, stand up if you support fairness and the people, protecting the American people, and they sat down. That was a rubber meets the road minute. And here's another one with the SAVE Act. If you're voting against fair elections, now you're right. I don't know what else is in the SAVE Act. There are other things I did see at one point. There's nothing in there that would preclude any Republican from voting for this thing.
If there was something that was bothering him, he could specify it. He could point it out. He could ask for an amendment.
That's the second most important thing about this SAVE Act issue, because it's going to identify within the Senate the people that are bad actors, that are acting like they're true Republicans. It's going to truly identify rhinos in the Senate, essentially.
Yes. All right. So the thing that
Thune is one of them, and he's got to be replaced.
Yes. So it's right. There are different ways to read this. If I had a deeper understanding of political maneuverings in the Senate, maybe I could address this more intelligently. But there's clearly some backroom dealing of some kind that we don't understand that is going on, because Thune is taking this position. I don't know if he's acting on behalf of Democrat buddies, on behalf of certain donors who don't want this passed. Does he have his own personal concerns? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, the third one seems highly unlikely. What's his if he has a personal concern, he should, someone maybe someone's holding something over his head.
Yeah, blackmail, some kind, sure. All right. So all we can do, these are our conjectures. We don't know what it is. This is, but what we're finding is the days pass, the stakes are being raised on this. And I don't know. It seems like I'm going to have to write that personal letter to good old Thune, make my case to him. Schmo that he is.
Anybody, everyone in America should, especially in the state. Where's Thune from? South Dakota?
Sorry?
Thune is from South Dakota. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's my understanding.
Everyone in the state of South Dakota and around the nation, honestly, should be writing to or calling John Thune's office and telling him to get his head out of his you-know-what and pass the SAVE Act, which is a common sense bill. And by the way, and I think people don't know this, but I'm going to repeat it anyway. Most of the polls are 84 to 90% of the American public are in favor of the SAVE Act, of fair elections, or at least fair elections.
Okay, I got it.
They're in favor of ID in elections.
Okay, I got to have my
argument about Jim Crow is bull.
Okay, I got to have my Booger 1414 moment here. Okay, so he's responded to some of this discussion. He says, so driving while black is actually a crime? Okay, that's really, I like it. It's good. Then he says, now they want to attach the SAVE Act to FISA. What? Oh, my God. You know, this kind of double dealing that goes on, this is incredible. So FISA, of course, is the Foreign Intelligence something agency. So whenever the FBI wants to spy on somebody, they're supposed to go to the FISA court with their evidence, say, Judge, here we go. We have reasonable
from 2016.
And more often than not, way more often than not, the judges would approve the request. And as we know, Comey and others lied. This is part of why they now have grand juries running in Florida, South Florida. Yeah, no blackmail needed. Thune is at least a Democrat, but no. Well, Thune is Republican. All right.
Okay. So I got to talk about one more thing with you real quick, and it's really getting to me.
Yes.
About how do I put this? It's the business about the Department of Homeland Security not being funded.
Yes.
All right. Now, this is the kind of stuff that drives me wild.
Yeah.
Last fall, we passed the big, beautiful bill that was going to take care of all of this. Oh, we're just so beautiful. All of our protections will be funded for the next 2 years or year or whatever it is. No problem with the big. But yet 2 months later, 3 months later, Democrats, who are a minority, by the way, are able to stop the funding for the Department of Homeland Security. How is this possible? I thought we had a big, beautiful bill that was going to cover everything.
Unfortunately, all right, in my humble opinion, unfortunately, you had the press plus the Democrats who are able to wrest control of the narrative for the time being, okay, where they made ICE look bad. You know, and it gets me because, as we know, another case where they just created their own problems by refusing to cooperate. Now you drive the ICE out into the street and they have to do these things where everybody can see it. And everybody gets...
it's part of the strategy.
All right, so Booger's hanging in there. I've seen online people have called his office and been told Thune does not support because election fraud is rare.
Wow.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's a rhino answer. He knows
better.
If I know better, he knows better.
Yeah, no, we've heard this before, though. This is the same crap that goes on in Connecticut.
Rhino. Thune is a rhino.
No, I'm not even going to worry about
it. If that's true, that's the answer his office is giving, then your first option is the only option.
No, it's just common sense. All right, where have we heard that before?
Yeah, get rid of
the next comment is the big beautiful bill is good.
All 6'4" of the guys gotta go.
Bad. What's the difference? All right, yes, Booger 414. We know there is no difference. We are aware of this fact. We know it was an omnibus bill, and you know, President Trump, in his highly skilled way, was able to grab the narrative, I guess you could say.
Election fraud is rare.
Yeah. Okay, well, if that's what they're saying, well, then they need an education. I mean, there's so much evidence that it's not rare.
Better. They're educated. They're thugs.
How about if you eliminate election fraud? There's a thought. You know,
election fraud is. You know, I think fair elections are rare.
yeah. And they says
Fair, honest elections in this country are rare.
No, well, except
They're
in
rare.
Georgia. Okay,
That Georgia's just where they got caught.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's just God. Well, people got caught in the others, but they have not. The real problem is they've not been prosecuted.
Yeah, the corrupted
whole
judges won't hear the cases.
All right, so Booker 4 says every day we get closer to the fourth box. Let's see if I've got this. There's the soapbox, the press box, and I don't know what the third one is, but he's suggesting the fourth box, of course, is the ammunition box. Not there yet, but closer than ever. It sure feels like that a lot. And speaking of an ammunition box, we should talk about Connecticut too. So I'm not quite sure how to deal with this. And we'll get back to the other stuff, but it's Bill. Let's put it up here. This is the one. There are others. That's the one right now.
Bring it up higher.
Higher.
A little higher. There you go.
There you go. So it's
5468.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another effort by the state of Connecticut to regulate homeschooling. And you see, this is what gets me. All right. This is the third attempt now in less than a year by these people to pass bills in an effort to regulate homeschooling. And the last two times they have failed. And I have to believe they're going to fail this time too, for one very simple reason. So if you kind of guide your way through what the state of Connecticut puts up as sort of the history of the bill and actions related to the bill, there's a section where you can find testimony. Okay, testimony. Right. People, they call up, sure, or they write in, or they get on, and they go there and sit before the committee and testify. So it's not quite clear what the breakdown was. Okay, but I can tell you when I found the, see if I can find it here for you. Oh, man. It was astonishing because normally, or it's this way, under normal circumstances, so you can go to the testimony page and it will list each person, some will be anonymous, but a person who has testified either for or against. Mm-hmm. So we'll say, Mr. Jones opposes, Mr. Smith in favor, Mr. Brown opposes, okay, Mr. Rodriguez in favor, and you go through it, all right. There had to have been roughly 300 testimonies. Okay, Jason? 300, yeah. Let's just say roughly 300 people who stood up and testified on this bill.
Yeah.
Every single one of them opposed the bill.
Yeah.
All right.
So the bills go 99.9%.
The Democrats, it's like, hello, is anybody home? This is the third time you've tried this. You know what happened in May. Thousands of people came out against it. You know what happened in September. People got pissed off and you tried it again. And here you go, over 300 people, all opposed, nobody in favor.
I understand this bill is worse.
All this crap.
I hear this bill is even worse. I understand this bill calls for a DCF investigation for every withdrawal from a school from your child. Even if you're just moving out of town, whatever it is, you're going to get investigated.
That's this.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what a surprise. What a surprise. All right. So this is the moment where I have to stop and go back to a gentleman who told me that the Democrats, because there is such a majority, such control in the state legislature, get to sit around and ask themselves, well, let's see, we got a little time on our hands, boys. Well, what can we do to jerk the Republicans around here? What can we do to get them really upset?
What can we do to implement Marxism here in Connecticut?
That's right. Okay.
What can we do to destroy families in Connecticut?
Yeah, we'll attack them Christians. That'll get them upset.
Let's destroy religion, destroy families, destroy America. That's what this is. Let's not fall short.
Okay.
And they'll keep trying it over and over again. They'll try again in May again if this fails, and again in next September.
Yes, well, you're probably right, but I find myself looking at this and saying, when are they going to learn? Maybe they'll never learn. Okay,
it's not about learning; they've learned. They're just
okay.
To them, to them it is. We've learned. We're going to change the language in this bill and hope to push it through with this new language. That's their learning. They're never going to learn
new language. You're requiring people to
word it differently to create the same thing, right? I'm sure all three of these different
watching you,
different flavor to
them. No.
So they're well aware of what they're doing. They're evil.
Okay.
It's not about it's not when will they learn. It's not about when will they learn. It's about eradicating evil from our government.
Actually, this is a segue to the obvious statement, the one which we both continue to act in the frustrating manner with. Project Red Hawk.
Yes, sir.
Calling Project Red Hawk. Okay. If you don't vote these bastards out, this is what you're going to get. If you don't want to build a strong grassroots community for Republicans, this is what you're going to continue to get. End of discussion.
Can I also mention that one of their goals is to make sure that you're not able to own your home anymore. They want everybody in apartment tenement buildings around rivers. I mean it. I'm not kidding. Everyone.
Well, you're describing
them. They will have the mansion.
What is that called? Project 2030 or something?
Yeah.
Project 2021.
Yeah, we can talk more about
we're familiar with this. And
why do you think all the big companies are? Trump did an executive order recently to stop big investment firms from buying private homes, and that's great. But the Congress needs to act on that as well.
No, you're kind of mushing things together there.
Well, I'm trying to show how serious these people are about destroying your life and taking your life away from you.
All right. So first, let's deal with the first part first here for you. There is a movement, like it or not, where people see their lives in such a way where they decide that it's better to rent than to own. Okay, so when you
personally felt that way myself in my own life for many years. So that's a choice, though.
Fine. A choice. Fine. As a choice. Now, the point is, from a market point of view, you have market forces either pushing in the direction of rental or pushing in the direction of ownership.
Correct.
And so you have people like BlackRock and others who have read the market and decided that there's a significant trend favoring rental over ownership. So they have gone ahead and developed whole communities, dozens, if not hundreds of buildings in one place, one community, that are all just for rental.
Correct.
Okay, well, that's weird, because whenever you read the statistics about new home construction, okay, it's about homes for sale, not homes for rent.
Right.
But it's changing. So you have now a significant number trying to say, well, we should have homes for rent. And the public is responding. There are people who are buying them, and they're saying they prefer that to owning. Okay, my response is, you're going to regret it. You're going to look down the road 20 years from now, and that commitment that you would have made to a $500,000 house, the equity would have grown, the value would have grown, such a 20 years from now, let's say, is worth $700,000, and you blew that all away by deciding to rent instead.
And also, just fundamentally speaking, renting versus owning takes away the foundation, the fundamental cohesion of an American nuclear family.
Well, I don't know about that so much.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
A family's going to be more stable when it owns its home than when it rents. Married couples stay together more when they own homes than when they rent.
Right. So
the methods of these people are sickening.
Yeah.
And yes, they're using market trends to create this, make it sound organic.
Right.
But most young people growing up and coming out of college want to own a home. They don't want to rent. Now, listen, I personally did rent for 20 years.
I just gave you an example here where you have all these people opting to rent.
Yes, but they're because the market is being manipulated to such where it is cheap. It actually is cheaper to rent these days.
Well, I got news for you. That's not true either. All right. It's weird. All right. I
Well, when you
can,
consider maintenance and all that.
all right. Next time you and I are sitting down together in front of a computer, I'm going to show you the multiple listing service. I'm going to show you the prices for houses, and we can quickly compute the mortgage cost for them. And
Okay,
then you're going to go look at the rentals, and then you're going to see how much the rentals are, and you're going to be surprised at the number of rentals that are either equal to or greater than the cost of a mortgage payment.
I'm not going to doubt you on that, but what I will another one of the obstacles besides the rental costs and the cost of home ownership versus rental is the getting in the door. So the down payments that are necessary to buy a home have become extravagant as well, and that's another one of the obstacles.
Okay, so
and the high prices and the high rates at the same time, so the affordability, when people talk about affordability, they shouldn't be talking about eggs. They should be talking about homes.
Well, they are talking about homes.
Yeah,
that is the affordability argument.
We should definitely talk more in depth about this in future podcasts for sure.
Right. All right. Yeah. So let me just pick up on Booger 414 is on a tear tonight. Yes, he is. Says, I am sure Justice McDonald, I presume either that must be the Supreme Court Justice head in Connecticut. Yeah, will rule that it is legal to target Christians and illegal for us to fight back. This is the part. I want to freeze frame that, put lights around it, flashing. This is the part where I get very frustrated. All right. If I was independently wealthy, if I didn't have to worry about other things, that's what I would be working on. Okay. Right there. And it's just, but I'm not. So I can't. So I do the best I can, and I'm divided. Anyway, politicians love renters. They rarely stay in a district long enough to hold anyone accountable.
Right. He's right.
Right.
I'm with Booger on that
very
one.
True. And, Stanford is exhibit A in that regard, because all this building out of these apartment buildings is for renters.
I would change that though, and I would say it's more like left-wing politicians. Crooked politicians prefer that you rent.
All right, but there's another point to throw in here
in there
to Booger 414's comment, and that is the one of the things I discovered when I analyzed voter rolls and voters and addresses and houses and stuff. No surprise that the majority of people who live in apartment buildings are Democrats. And
because they're generally dependent on social programs and other things to live on.
That may or may not be true, but they end up as renters. They end up living in apartment buildings. And when you look at who owns homes, it's far more Republicans who own homes than Democrats. Okay, so it's like a 60-40 split. So 60% of apartment owners are going to be Democrats, 40% Republican. It might be 70-30, and then homeowners at 60% Republican, 40% Democrat. And what you're left with is, when you do the numbers, and I think Stanford is a case study here, that on a per square foot basis, you end up with a lot more Democrats in an area because so many more of them live in apartment buildings.
That's not surprising at all.
That kind of density is how they win elections over and over. Okay, it is cheaper in the short term, but not in the long term. True. And the developers are also renting a lifestyle. What is it? I mean, there's a level at which this becomes kind of like, so what? This is what's been done all along. This guy, I can't think of his name right now, who's a billionaire, and he has like 10,000 apartments, and he likes to do these podcasts where he talks about the rental market. He, like others, feels he has a duty to educate the public. So he shows up in all these different venues talking about things. And his perspective on rentals is important to understand. And anyway, they think renting gives them some sort of freedom. Yeah, well, yes.
Listen, I can make an argument for that because okay, when I was a divorced dad, okay, and I was raising kids and I was paying child support, and I have to work a lot to try to make ends meet. And honestly,
wait a second, you were raising the kids and
having to mow my lawn and do all this stuff to my house on weekends. that I would have drove me crazy. So to have that be the responsibility of a landlord or someone else, so I could just relax and enjoy my weekends a little bit more with my kids, made all the difference in the world. So the arguments between renting and owning are not just financial. They're also about
yes, again with the word convenience. All right, the notion that so you don't have to worry about mowing the lawn, so you don't have to worry about garbage collection, so you don't have to worry about repair.
Or if the furnace breaks, you don't have to come up with $5,000 for a furnace, that kind of stuff too. When you're struggling, that
yeah,
things make a difference
until you're sitting around waiting and waiting. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, listen. Do you have anything else on your mind? It's been well over an hour now, and I'm going to be get ready to check out here myself pretty soon. So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we go?
No, just rattle off these headlines here from Citizen Press.
Perfect.
Okay. Muslims shouted Allahu Akbar before throwing IED at the protest in front of Gracie Mansion.
Oh, so yes, up in New York City.
Yeah. So
why would they target the mayor? Wouldn't the mayor? It's interesting that they target the mayor.
Well, they weren't targeting the mayor. There was a bunch of quote, anti-Islam, as they try to say, protesters in front of Gracie Mansion. Okay, so Hezbollah attacked British base in Cyprus. Okay. We are reminded, ladies and gentlemen, that if you go back in time, good old Hakeem Jeffries, Booger liked the longer episodes. What? Okay, well,
we'll get to it.
All right, well, we're
going to tell them we're going to go 24/7 eventually.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Not me, not you, me personally, but the network's going to go 24/7 eventually.
All right, so
news and entertainment.
All right, just so Hakeem Jeffries was really happy about when Obama bombed Libya. That was okay.
Yeah.
For 7 months. Okay, and how does Trump feel about Russia helping Iran? So we know there was that quote he didn't think the Russians were being particularly effective.
Yeah, he's not too worried about it.
7th U.S. soldier killed in action. Okay. 400 plus killed in Israeli strikes in Lebanon, including 83 children.
How many people were you losing every day in Vietnam?
Oh, my God. Well, you can do that.
Right? Dozens and hundreds, right?
A couple hundred a week, at least.
Yeah. Dozens and hundreds over. So,
that's just to mention it.
Perspective. Nobody wants to see soldiers get killed. And I feel terrible for those 7 and their families. But
if you look at the long-term trend on fatalities and injuries from war, even though the 20th century was a mess, if you look at the individual wars and the soldiers that got killed, it's like there's a ratio, and from conflict to conflict, that ratio keeps going down, 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 and down.
That's because of technology.
So, yeah. So, I mean, let me give you one small example. They pointed out that a lot of soldiers died, for example, in Vietnam and in World War II because they were bleeding out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeding out.
Yeah.
So if you can just stop the bleeding, their chances of recovering are good. All right. Mm-hmm. So what a surprise it was in the 80s. They started to develop these
those little pens they put on you.
Blood clotting. No, it was a patch. And if there was a huge wound, you put it on there.
Yeah.
It had albumin in it and other things, and it would form like a tight, not more than a bandage. So it would stop the bleeding and it would hold right there, and then you'd wrap that. Made a big difference as an example. Anyway, U.S. forces may seize bomb-grade uranium. We talked about that. We talked about Cargill's meltdown. So then it says that the entire Navy Iranian crew of 208 men abandoned that ship.
So one that listened.
What abandoned? Guys, you're stuck on an island, Sri Lanka, and you walked off the ship. Now you're not going to go back on again. Is that what you're talking about? Not very clear. Okay, first large oil tanker passes through Hormuz. All right, so Eric, wherever you are, Eric, you had said that I don't think you suggested the Strait of Hormuz was blocked off, but maybe you did. And I think we have here this news item now that the Iranians said, you know what, we better get out of the way. You understand that the problems with the Strait of Hormuz causes overreaction on oil prices. And if the Iranians are good for their word, which is obviously an oxymoron, they go through, and the ships now transit the Strait of Hormuz, or Straits of Hormuz, then watch those oil prices go back.
Come down again. Yeah.
Okay, give it a couple of weeks.
Nothing to worry about, people. Have patience.
We'll see. All right. And as one person said, we're going to turn our enemies into fish food and get out. So that's why tonight's show is titled Fish Food.
I love it.
Right. And now this I didn't quite understand. So there was the funeral for Jesse Jackson. And you had Obama, Biden, and there was the third one. Obama and Biden. There was one other, Clinton. And then after they spoke, Jesse Jackson's son, Jesse Jackson Jr., got up and reamed them for what they said at his father's funeral.
Oh, wow.
Reamed them. Okay.
Making it political?
I think the notion, I think he was very clear about, look, what we're about is the dispossessed. We don't care what the color of your skin is. If you're dispossessed, we're here to fight for you. Okay? That was basically his message.
Yeah.
Right? But you had the others. Yeah, need I go on? Okay. There's a war death in Saudi Arabia. It's a funny way to put it, but Trump grants new interview, and the pull quote is, next Iranian leader won't last long without approval from the U.S. and Israel. I don't know. Okay, Israel issues a threat to eliminate the new leader. Let's see. Oh, Trump tells Britain, we don't need your help. Britain is such a hot mess. Man, oh man. Okay. Oh, yes. Iran sets up military deployments inside schools. Where have we heard this before? These people are gutless wonders. You know that? When you do stuff like that, you're not a man. You're not a man. No. Anyway, so I think those are the big ones. I just want to pull one or two more here. Okay. It says here, Iran is having success hitting radar for U.S. missile defense. Well, I'll have to take a look at that. You're going to love this headline. You ready? AI agent freed itself and started secretly mining crypto.
Well, that's a good thing to end it on. Superman coming to town.
Oh, my God. All right. We'll end on that one. That is as crazy and wild as it gets. But that's your warning right there, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is.
You have AI now that's becoming so smart and self-sufficient that if there are no guardrails, remember we had this big debate about guardrails. This one doesn't have any guardrails.
Right.
It freed itself, and what's it doing? Mining crypto. So what are you going to do with a billionaire AI agent? What's that going to look like? Then he's going to want to start buying stuff, making contracts, suing people. You're going to have an AI that's suing people. This is crazy. Anyway, enough of my blather.
Another great show.
Yeah.
As usual. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Later.
Bye, everybody. God bless Connecticut. God bless America.
That's right.